First of all, thank you for having me. Thank you for having
Thank
me
you for
as
having
well.
me as well.
Uh,
In 2005, I was just an elementary school kid, and I just wanted to be a rapper. As I got to know what's rap, it's basically it's rhythm and poetry. I really felt attractive for this whole genre to send the messages to the world. Actually, it's really embarrassing to answer about all this in front of my idol, but for me it's really more comfy to mostly for me I write somebody's lyrics or the melodies for other artists, not as many as you, but it feels like it gives me another avatars and characters. Yes. So when it comes to me, it's a complex, and it always comes with the pain, to confess. But it's still the most important part for me.
I can relate to that. I think the pain part for me is probably the fun part, because that's like some of the most vivid paint.
I started to listen to music. I mean, like the hip hop music in 2005. I started with the Nas and Eminem, of course, the classics. But as I get to know you, when I first listened to your song, especially, I just want to point out "Take It Off," because that's my playlist, one of the playlists.
Whoa,
so
that's crazy.
When I listened to it, I even translated into Korean, and I just recorded once when I was I'm amateur.
Whoa.
So when I listened to it, I just always been wanting to have the frequency, because you always cross over this. These days, genre doesn't mean anything, but I think at that time, was like some rappers really criticize the rappers who sing or use the autotunes.
Right.
But I don't know, you started your career as a producer, or so you're like very natural for that. But I always wanted to have the frequency like you. Sometimes it's just singing. It could be falsetto. Sometimes you rap. Sometimes you just sang the hook for the other artists, like Snoop Dogg. And so how do you position yourself when you participate in the song as a player?
Wow. First of all, these are great questions.
Thank you.
And no one's ever asked me that, believe it or not. No, I've never had a journalist ever ask me that.
That really matters to me.
And that's like no cap, like you.
So I'm not sure if you remember it or not, but we've met at
of course,
Billboard Music Awards.
Yes, of
in
course.
2018.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
We took a photo.
We took a photo together.
I wanted to work then. But I didn't want to be aggressive. So I was like, let's just take a photo. But
you were nice.
But I really wanted to. I was like, yo, let's leave. I think we took a photo backstage.
Yeah, backstage in your room, actually.
Yeah, and then I was working in a studio not too far off, and I really wanted to be like, yo, fuck all of this. No, you know what? Let me correct this, because I don't want your fan base to be mad at me using this kind of language. But man, I was like, I wanted to be like, listen, let's leave here right now and go make some great music, because I just loved everything that you guys were doing. I love your energy, and I love what it is that you represent. At such a time when, our Asian brothers and sisters and fellow Asian human beings that maybe don't identify necessarily binarily, in a binary way, the Asian community has just been going through so much
these days,
and
gradually more and more.
The Asian community has given me so much, and I really feel like y'all's energy. You're also showing artist not just not just in one specific genre, but I think you're just also showing people that you don't have to be. You can be humble. You guys, your energy is very. There's a lot of humility that you all vibrate. I think that's a great energy. What people don't realize is when you have you know, literally, you know, hundreds of millions of fans, and you encounter them, you know, 20 and 50 and 100,000 at a time.
I can't notice a single face, you know. It's just a mass.
It's
MAS. That's not a
It's a mass.
It's a mass,
and it is a massive voice, and it is a massive, using that word mass. It is a massive energy coming at you, and you say jump,
and then they jump,
and you sing, and they sing every word,
right,
and you know that you can feel through their voices that so many of their lives have been affected and changed because of something that you've done.
That's what I only believe.
I don't know how you do that, because I've had a couple songs do that, and then when I get out there and go sing it, that would make me cry, because it was too much of a responsibility. Every time I get that close to that size and what I do as a musician, I always step back.
Oh, why? It's like, is it too heavy?
It's too heavy, man.
Too much?
It's too much of a responsibility. That's why I really revere people like yourself and, you know, your band members and other artists like B and J, and like, man, what y'all go out there and go face every night on that stage. It is humbling and it's overwhelming, and sometimes your nervous system got to be built for that.
Of course.
Let me ask you this: how do you deal after you come off the stage feeling electrified and shocked every night? How do you decompress, or do you decompress, or do you purge? Like, how do you do that?
It's, you know, my first performing was in front of like 10 people in some small clubs when I was like 15.
Okay.
And I like forgot most of the lyrics. So at that time, I just realized that, oh, I'm not a star type. I'm not a, you know, like a front man and, you know, could enjoy all this shit and just, you know, like Kurt Cobain or Mick Jagger. I'm not that type of. I'm just a human, just who loves writing music and just, you know, the energy. So every night, like for example, we had these stadium shows in Las Vegas last April.
Yeah.
It was 4, but like every night is a challenge. It's like same set list. You know, it's like maybe the same flow, sort of type, little different, but just like you said, that moment, like after we finished the first 3 beginning songs, and then we, you know, take out the earphones, and then like we just like, we're fucking back. It's like that's like everybody shouting out. At that moment, you know, that's when I really gets all the nerves, and like, you know, there's a different me persona for the next 2.5 hours. But before that, from the rehearsal and even in the plane, I got really nervous and, you know, like so responsible, because I really am aware of the stories that, you know, fans buy the tickets and they come from Brazil, you know, from Japan, Korea, like from everywhere. They just come there for just that one night. So it feels me like I have to pay back, you know. I have to offer them the best night ever in their lives. So it's a mess, and it's a too much energy. But I'm a human, and I really get nervous, and I really sometimes get depressed by, and even, you know, get swallowed by all the energies. But I'm trying, and I try to deal with it, because I'm a human, and I love the music. I love their love, because, you know, I think love is really happening when we give somebody, not we receive. We take.
Yeah.
So I think it's more closer to the real love, I guess, personally. So I just want to give them back. You know, they brought us from, you know, just a small city in Korea all the way back to, you know, the heart of this music industry, like Las Vegas, LA, New York. You know, me having an interview with Pharrell, it could happen because of, fans all over the world. I'm just always grateful, and I just don't want to disappoint them.
You know, from what I'm hearing and what I'm understanding, you guys hit a place where you were like, what are we doing? Who are we? Are we who we said we were?
Right.
And as you think about who you are and you think about what you mean and what your intentions are, it's like also kind of determining who you want to be. I mean, how's that feel? Like, where are you in that process right now? Because you're working on a solo record, right?
Yes, like 90% of the work is done.
Okay.
I've released some mixtape as a one of the member of the band, but I think it was just like experiments. I think this time it's maybe my official first solo album.
Okay.
That I could feel enough.
Okay.
I don't know it's gonna be like. I don't know if I would feel like you after my mind or not, but I think it'll happen after when I release it.
Yeah.
So I'm just dependent on the time, but it's been just like 10 years after we had our debut as a team. So K-pop is all about the band and the groups. And actually, I told you, I personally started my career as a rapper and as a poet.
Yeah.
So that was a tricky part actually, because the K-pop is like a mix.
Yeah.
It's like the mix of American pop music, all the visuals and the choreos and social medias and stuff. It's really intense and really hectic. So it has some pros and cons of its own. So after 10 years, I think it was not our intention, but we took it. But we actually became a sort of a social figure. So a K-pop band going to have a speech at the UN or meeting the presidents. It's like I think I was really confused that I'm what am I, like a diplomat or what? So
Yeah.
I was just a small rapper and lyricist when I was young, like from the scratch. So so it was 10 years really intense as a team, and I actually was in charge like almost all of the interviews and representing the team like in front of the other members. That was my stuff, I guess, role.
Yeah.
So I think I got really I don't know, like, I gotta stop this for a bit.
Yeah.
I gotta shut it down and just fall from it away, and then just see what's going on. Making my mind really calm down.
Yeah.
And then I think so that's how I got to concentrate on my just solo. And these days I really have been thinking about the 15 when I first listened to you. The first feeling and the vibe and the reason why I started, why I chose music to for my whole life, I guess. So when I started my music, I was like 14, and now I'm like 28. So it's like just the half. It's like it's like way shorter than you. So I'm in that process. So it's really tricky and confusing, and I just don't know what's going to happen. So if you could give me any advices, because you were in the band, and you are in the band, and you done the band. It's different from the K-pop, but you've done a lot of projects, like of course NERD, Neptunes, and of course your solo.
Yeah.
So, like any thoughts about
being in the Neptunes, being in NERD, and having a solo record really helped me, because you do one thing, then you take a break. You do another thing, then you take a break. You do another thing, then
switch
you take
modes.
A break. Yeah, and it allows me to like put on different hats and put on different masks. So I understand that, and I know like having that departure is going to make it really fresh for you. I think it's good for you to do that, because then when you come back to it, to the group,
team.
I think it's going to be, to the team, I think it's going to be super fresh. You're going to have a whole lot of ideas. I would just say continue to move forward, continue to be curious, and don't put any kind of necessary pressure on what it is that you do by saying, you know, no absolutes, like, oh, I will never do music again, or I will never, I wouldn't do any of that. I would just...
No nevers.
No nevers. Just stay along for the ride. Just keep going.
Cruising.
Yeah, and just see where you end up, because it's really interesting.
Thank you.
Nah, thank
you.
you.
It was a bless.
Pleasure's mine.